Hey there, viewers. It has been almost 3 years since I've given you guys a proper video. Now, I know I'm not a large vacuum YouTuber, but it's certainly something that I really enjoy doing. But nonetheless, a lot has changed in my life, but one thing has not. And that is the fact that I love vacuum cleaners, so I still have quite a few of those. I have plenty that I would like to show off and, go in depth about. And today is no exception. Today's a really good start. It is Christmas Eve, so, Merry Christmas to all of you who celebrate that. I do. There's my little tree. It's not on at the moment. But nonetheless, I have a pretty interesting, little bit of an oddball vacuum to show you today. This is something quite rare here in the United States. This is a Electrolux Aptitude. Now, don't be fooled by the Electrolux badge you see here. This is actually a division. This is Europe's division of Electrolux here. But of course, it is also Eureka, because I believe that the European Electrolux owns Eureka or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But essentially, this is pretty much a Eureka upright. I don't know why people complain about that. I actually like Eureka vacuum cleaners. I like the early 2000s and 90s Eurekas. I always thought they were pretty cool with their designs, especially the Victory machines. And this one is very similar to a Victory. As a matter of fact, it has a back saver handle, as you can see. It's a very sleek looking vacuum cleaner, but at the same time it's very bulky. But that's no problem for me. I think this is a really cool unit. It's very different. And I think it has one of those Antec lamb motors in it. So it actually has a really low tone to it. It sounds really nice. The motors on these are pretty, I like them a lot. Has plenty of suction. It agitates pretty well. For, a bypass unit, it actually does clean very well. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and explore this unit. So let's go ahead and start with the onboard attachment and hose and things of that nature. So we have a little basic stretch hose here. I think it stretches to about 10 feet or something like that. But it's a very Eureka-esque in the fact that the hose is very, very close to the unit. So it's very, very Eureka-like. Let's see. There's this little hook here that holds it closer to the machine. So, pretty cool. It feels very quality. This unit, I believe, was made in 2004. So somebody in the comments could probably tell me that. Let me see. Let's go down here. Please pardon the lighting, guys. So yeah, there's the CRO right there. So I could be wrong. I do believe this is a 2004 unit. Anyhow, this unit has a very interesting feature. I think on the Kenmore version of this that I used to own, I think it was just called an anti-blockage system. It was advertised up and down this little tube here. So that's pretty much what it is. I guess the company took in consideration that this tight bend here is a little more prone to clogging, than most areas of the vacuum cleaner. So, all you have to do is get a coin or something and just, undo that, and this just pops out, and you can get rid of clogs fairly easily. I thought that was pretty cool. But nonetheless, it has not a very large assortment of onboard tools, but, they get the job done. We have 2 extension tubes here. This one just, slides out and, becomes 2. And we also have a crevice tool and an upholstery nozzle that go into one. So I think if you're using the upholstery tool here, you would have to leave the crevice tool on, because there's a small adapter in the crevice, or in the upholstery tool for that crevice tool. And of course, it's supposed to be stored that way as well. So that's pretty cool. It has a pretty decent set of onboard tools. Alright, so moving on to the business end of the machine, as I like to call it. It's a very basic bypass design, of course. We have our little inlet hose leaning more towards the right. Down here at the head. This is a floating head as well, so it's not very heavy. It's a separate attached unit from the body. It's just a floating head. The bristles are actually fairly stiff, very, very good. They groom the carpet well, but I have Berber carpet, so you can't really see any carpet lines. But it does clean this particular carpet very well. It really does. Of course, there is this little design flaw here where the belt guard blocks the edge cleaning bristles here. So it's just kind of kicking dust everywhere on that side, but you know, it's a small price to pay for this nice large cleaning path. In total, I think it's like 15, but let's just take an inch or two off here, you know, so that's totally fine. Let's just call it 12. I don't know. But nonetheless, the brush roll here is in pretty good condition. I would say in near perfect condition if it wasn't for this little messed up bristle here. I think when I first got this unit, I cleaned out the brush roll, and there was quite a bit of hair on this side. So, you know, easy fix. I put a belt in it as well. I packed grease into the brush roll bearings, and we have a perfectly working brush roll here. So that's completely fine. All right, so let's go to the containment part of the vacuum cleaner. Of course, it does use bags, and given that this is pretty much a Eureka unit, you can also fit Eureka DX bags. But this unit came with a one of the original Electrolux bags. There's a little model number on the other side of it. I can't remember now. I'm pretty sure you still can order them online. I'll try to find the Electrolux ones if I can. But the filters, there's two pre-motor filters down here. There is a little larger, coarser one, and there is a smaller white one, I believe, that's more for fine dust. This one's just for larger particles here that can escape from the, I guess, the inlet of the bag or something like that. It's, you know, basic filter. But this is given that this is a bagged unit, it actually filters very well anyway. It also has an O2 filter system. It's just a pleated HEPA filter. You know, really nothing that crazy. I don't even have one in right now. It didn't even come with one. I just have a couple of paper towels jammed in there, you know, to try to block some carbon dust. I mean, but nonetheless, you know, this unit does filter very well. You know, my fiance and I aren't sneezing every time we use the unit like we are most others, you know, so that's pretty cool. Very easy to maintain. The bag collar is interesting too. So there's this top slot here. Sorry about the light once again. That, you know, you can slide the top cardboard fittings in, and you know, just, you know, it helps hold the bag in place. It's pretty cool. There's a little seal around the bag as well. This bag's hardly full. I barely have anything in it. All right, so that just slides in there, and of course you pop the bag door right back in. It's pretty easy to do one-handed too. You know, whenever I make videos, if any of you guys have seen my older videos, you know, I just do that one-handed garbage. You know? But and we also have a 7-position height adjustment down here as well. You know, very Eureka-esque, very clunky. But on this Berber carpet, I just keep it right in the middle because, you know, it's kind of thick, but, you know, it's also kind of flat. It is Berber, so, you know, there is that. But anyhow, this machine, I think one of the most fascinating parts about it is the fact that it has, you know, adjustable power position. So there's low here, and then there's kind of a medium. You can kind of like slide that up and down, you know, to kind of fine tune it a little bit. And then there's, of course, max. And when this unit is on max, the suction is absolutely incredible. I don't know what it is. I've experienced very powerful suction with vacuum cleaners, especially some Dyson machines, but this particular vacuum cleaner has ridiculous suction. It's just awesome. But combined with the decent agitation, this is actually a very good carpet cleaner. It really and truly is. I've seen Amazon reviewers say, "Oh, it's so bad on hard floors," but honestly, you have some problems if you think that using a carpet cleaner on hard floors is a good idea. But nonetheless, you know, there are quite a few interesting features about this vacuum cleaner. I may have mentioned this before, but it does have this Eureka Victory-esque style, or Victory style handle rather. They consider it a back saver handle, so it's very ergonomic, very easy to use, and nonetheless, when you're pushing this vacuum across the carpet, it's actually it's very smooth, and it's very easy to push, you know, for a unit that weighs about 20 pounds. So that's pretty cool. Also, another thing that I find very interesting is that the wheels here are very close to the back. They're very close together, the two rear wheels. They're also rubber coated. So, you know, I found that pretty interesting. All right. Well, now that the little in-depth little tour here is over, I'm just going to cast the tools aside for now because I only have one hand. I'm going to sloppily attach the hose or put the hose right back onto the body and put it right back in the inlet here. And we're going to see how this vacuum does in a one-pass test. Now, I know, criticize me if you will. I know this is going to be kind of terrible, but I have here some coffee grounded up into the carpet. I have a little bit of cornmeal as well as some stale oyster crackers. We're going to do a little bit of an in-depth analysis and see how this unit does on a one-pass test. Oh yes, another thing I just remembered. Most of these units that were in Europe, or actually all the units that were in Europe, the Electrolux power systems never came with headlights. So, you know, they have a bag check indicator, but they don't have 7-position height adjustment or a headlight. So, you know, I think us Yanks are a little bit lucky. You know, that's pretty cool. Plus the rust color is awesome. Oh wow, I had it on. I never fixed the I never turned the power position off. Oops. Oh, scared me. But nonetheless, I'm gonna turn it on all positions before I do the one-pass test. You know, just to give you an idea of you know how they sound, and then we'll proceed. This was a terrible test. Honestly, I will admit that. You know, you couldn't. The color of the carpet and the color of the debris are almost identical, with the exception, of course, or with the exception of the coffee. So looking into our little one-pass result, you'll see in the little nooks of the carpet some, you know, just some fine ground-in particles. You know, but for a one-pass test, you know, that really wasn't that bad. It did pretty well. But I know that it'll easily pick up the rest of this mess. But you know, this is also the type of Berber this is. There are a lot of intricate little dents and lines and things like that, you know, but I would say it fared pretty well. I mean, you know, most demonstrations I've seen of this machine, you know, it's very similar results. A couple of debris scattered here and there, but it is a bypass unit. I will give it some grace. But on top of that, it's one of the most pleasurable units I've ever used. You know, it's pretty cool. Nonetheless, let's clean the rest of this mess up. And you know, I can't believe I left the power switch on before I plugged it in. That was totally irresponsible. All right, without further ado, let's get the rest of this mess up. Alrighty folks, and there you have it. That was probably really bad compared to my last videos. You know, I'm a little bit rusty, but nonetheless, that was my Electrolux Aptitude. If you liked what you saw, please feel free to give me a like or whatever. You know, I don't really care. I just like to network and show other collectors what I have. So nonetheless, that's been all, and I will see you on the next video.